Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.
Welcome back. If you're not on the Prepared Mind, if you're not on the inner circle, part of the Prepared Mind Network or the R Syndicate, you are not paying attention to what the hell is going on out there, folks. Out there, over there, back that direction, over. Folks, shit is hit the fan. Are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and your plan. You must be ready. These fucking people are idiots. No more Mr. Nice John. If you thought I was nice before, well, I guess I'm going to probably start hurting some feelings. If you already thought I was an a-hole, well, it's going to be confirmed with this particular broadcast. No more Mr. Nice John. Nah, I'm sick of this shit. I've really been nice about this crap, people. Let's start with this. Let's do it. Top story. Ransomware attacks. They have been upgraded to a national security threat. Well, this is the White House addressing, the world with a cybersecurity strategy. Really, this is breaking news. Ransomware attacks have been upgraded to national security with the Biden administration, except when it's a national energy pipeline feeding the entire fucking eastern seaboard. Right? Remember that? Well, remember when Joe Biden said that's just a private issue, a private pipeline feeding the entire East Coast from Texas. It was seized in a cyber attack. It was ransomware. And the White House said, none of our business, it's private. Really? So fucking theft, holding people hostage, that's extortion. Give us money or you can't have control of your property. Fuck the White House, folks. And that's just how this show is going to start. Really, this is who they are. Now get this, right? Documentary filmmaker Ken Burns. He's been making documentary films that only PBS will fucking buy for what, the last 30 years? So he goes on to criticize Tucker Carlson, who has released January 6th footage. And he says it's, quote, a huge threat to our republic. Folks, if Tucker is a threat, if Tucker is dangerous for releasing facts and truth, video clips, folks, they speak for themselves. Then the lies, the bullshit, the propaganda, the indoctrination coming from the mainstream media, Hollywood, and social media, they are full-blown fucking terrorists in comparison. Look at how they're pushing and driving kids to suicide, genital mutilation, acknowledging their parents as racists and hate mongers, and denying their own humanity. Fuck you guys. Ken Burns, give me a fucking break. Right? Not that I was lining up to watch any of his shit. Unbelievable, folks. They're so fucked up on the left that even left-wing commentators are tearing them to pieces. Oh, by the way, get your questions in down below because I'm going to do 30 minutes if I can keep my shit together. And then it's your turn with Q&A. A couple of you have contacted me today. Let me know you've got some great topics. Bring them up in the question section. I'll address them if I don't get to them beforehand. This has a little bit of nitrous oxide in it, if you know what I'm saying to you. Because I am on a tear. When you think rationally, logically, common sense, critical thinking, deductive thinking, inductive thinking, applying rationality, applying common sense, logic, the critical mind. You start to see shit. Even a left-wing sycophant like Jimmy Dore, who is a left-winger, folks, even he looks at what's going on with Nordstream and goes, this is crazy. He says, quote, America is the world's terrorist. What? Okay. Jimmy Dore, and I've watched a lot of his material. When I want to listen to what left-wingers think, who actually do a little bit of thinking, I'll listen to Jimmy Dore. He is a leftist prick, and that's fine. He seems to be as good at being an asshole and good with himself as I am, so I appreciate and respect that. So even though he is a leftist prick, folks, he also points out logical flaws of socialists who have power and authority because they are so flagrantly, that would be flagrantly retarded. He asks this question, folks. Why doesn't Joe Biden want to investigate this? Talking about the Nord Stream pipeline, terror, explosion, attack, etc. Why doesn't Congress want to investigate this? Meaning the Nord Stream pipeline, terror, explosion, disaster. Why doesn't the president want to investigate it? Why doesn't Congress want to investigate it? He says, if the United States is not behind the Nord Stream pipeline, why not investigate it? Right? Sweden, Denmark, and Norway already did their own investigations, but they won't release it. So Jimmy Dore asks, why won't they? And he comes to an interesting conclusion, especially for a left-wing numbskull, but he is entertaining. Jimmy Dore is interesting, but he doesn't, no matter how entertaining he is, even though he does get some things right, he doesn't convince me that socialism is worth a squirt of urine. It's not. It's death and murder for all who try it. Just like, methamphetamines. Fentanyl. Yeah. Anyways, this is a quote. I'm going to end this Jimmy Dore left wing, right? Quote, just like they don't want to investigate the cause of cerveza bug outbreak, they don't want to investigate the Nord Stream pipeline because they already know the answers. That's right. Why doesn't Joe want to investigate it? Why doesn't Congress want to investigate it? Because if the United States was not behind it, right, why not investigate it? Right? Because they could do an investigation and it would just be a big pile of steaming dog shit. Unbelievable. Now, another kind of lefty-loosey, kind of loosey-goosey commentator, but extremely popular. Unlike me and unlike even Jimmy Dore, Joe Rogan is the pinnacle of social media pop-off, smartass, hook your finger in someone's eye. So Joe Rogan has lampooned the woke White House. And folks, no more Mr. Nice John here at the Prepared Mind Studios. Fuck him. And you'll understand why I'm saying that as we get into this. Never mind all the damage they've done to kids with their social crap, their racist crap, their historical crap, their sexual crap. Never mind how they destroyed American business, retirement, dreams, etc., with their bullshit cerveza bug, and then their compounded stupidity of Jim Jones juice. Right? Joe says, hey, I'll vote for Trump before I would vote for Biden. And he goes after the woke idiots, right? And he says this, quote, you can't have those kind of people, meaning woke people, running a Ben and Jerry's. You certainly can't have those kind of people running the fucking most powerful government the world's ever known. It's nonsense. So who was Joe Rogan talking about? Well, he was kind of pointing at Sam Brinton, the suitcase thief, the fruitcake pup handler. He describes the situation, what is going on in the woke White House. And he basically imitated the Biden administration. He says, let's see, a man who dresses like a woman and has a beard and a mustache, but also wears lipstick. This is perfect for us. Totally lampoon them. pointing to all the stupid shit they're doing and all the stupid people they're appointing. So once again, let's quote Joe Rogan pretending to be Joe Obama. No, let's just quote Joe Rogan. He says, you can't have those kind of people running at Ben and Jerry's. And I say much less running our country or any portion of it. Yet here they are in positions of power with authority, law enforcement behind them. Oh, it's not pretty. Not at all. All right. Mr. T, I got in very late. Did not have enough time to download the new material you sent me, but I have been incorporating over the last couple of days new material, and I've been loving the shit out of it, especially the snowflake warning. I don't know how I can't play that. Now, with regard, folks, no, I don't want to go there. I want to go up. I want to go up and just go after these people. No more Mr. Nice John. You thought I was rough before, right? Fuck Pfizer. It's obvious this is a money sham. It's a toxic mRNA goo fest, right? A former BlackRock executive is behind the push for chicken Jones juice. That's right. A chicken Jim Jones juice company. It's an offshoot of Pfizer. And what do they want? They're demanding the chickens get the Jim Jones juice now. You bet that makes it fucking obviously they'll take good care of us. Not only, folks, it's awful what these people are pushing. If they can't get you to take their shit that changes your DNA, your immune system, your quality of life, then they'll give it to your food and have it given to you through your food. Fuck these people. And it's going to be too late when the bell tolls for them, when it's time for them to pay the fiddler. They think they're safe living in their little bug out locations. They'll be easy to find because there's going to be a lot of dead people trying to get at these fuckers, because they will get blamed for everything that happens. All the fallout, all the negativity, all the death and destruction. It is their fault and they know it. And they will get the blame. And folks, they may be tortured for days and days for what they've done to everyone, knowingly, intentionally, purposefully. And I'm going to continue. I'm going to go racist now on this. I'm tired of this racist bullshit coming out of the left, right? Everything is racist if you don't agree with them. Well, even on ESPN, they've been pushing this crap. And one analyst looked at his colleague who was race baiting, and he went after him. So you got these two guys, right? You got Perkins, the racist, blaming Reddick and calling everything they do racist, right? So in response to Perkins' comments about white racism being the problem, if a white player wins MVP in the Basketball Association, Reddick responded, and he said this, quote, "What we've just witnessed is the problem with this show, where we create narratives that do not exist in reality. The implication, what you are implying, that white voters that vote on NBA are racist." Folks, the problem is always screaming racism if a black man or woman isn't selected or elected for every possible freaking award, every trophy, every prize, every position, every election, every accommodation, every victory, every job, or every MVP of anything at all. Everything is racist. Even if someone is smart, uses their mind, and does something good for everyone else, that person is still a fucking racist to these scumbag racists. It is now time to start calling them racist, calling them out. And I thought that was brilliant what Reddick did. He went after Perkins for fucking being a race-baiting piece of shit. Right? If a white man wins the MVP, it must be because of racism. It couldn't be because a white fucking dude is good at basketball. We can't have that kind of shit. I had to listen to a fucking white man the other day, a left-wing lunatic, by the way, tell me that great white basketball players couldn't stand up the ones from history, to today's players. I said, you mean like, was it Bill Russell? I said, how about Larry fucking Bird? Right? No, they suck compared to how they are today. I said, really? I said, what about Wilt Chamberlain? Could he stand up to today's players? Oh, yeah. I said, you're fucking racist. Right? Because the deciding factor in all of this is skin color. It has nothing to do with real talent. Nothing to do at all with real talent, real thinking. It's always about the color of your skin. Fuck them. No more Mr. Nice John. I'm calling them out every time I see it now. Because the reason it's so important is, remember, just a few days ago, someone said, John, what is going to be the catalyst? What is going to be the trigger? What is going to be the event that causes Americans to go off? Right? And there's just a couple things. There's just a couple things. Fucking black shit all over me. What is going to be the thing? It's going to be this racism, race baiting, divide and conquer, partisan bullshit. The government and their agents and their big mouths in media, entertainment, are pitting people against each other based on race. It's identity politics through race, identity politics through income, identity politics through age, identity politics through what? Just fucking politics. I'm sick of them. I'm absolutely sick of them. I'm sick of the retards being held up as heroes and brain surgeons, like Senator Festerman. Right? They actually went to the hospital with this poor sap who probably has no cognitive ability anymore, probably even less than Joe Biden. I'm sure they wiped the drool off of his face, put him in a position, posed him, and took a picture just so they could try and garner sympathy for this poor, dumb sap who should have never, ever been considered as a candidate. Once it was noted that he couldn't speak intelligently. Well, we got someone else who can't speak intelligently in government talking to the world for us. And it's none other than Karine Jean-Pierre, the little dumbass, right? And so she went to the media and she gave the White House's opinion, right? She reacts to the January 6th Tucker Carlson insurrection, right? The insurrection footage. And she looked and she said, hey, it was the, quote, worst attacks on our democracy since the Civil War. What does she know about the Civil War? What does she know about the Civil War? She's not even a fucking American, folks. I'll explain that in a moment. She is an idiot. Idiot Kareem. 1, this is not a democracy. This is a constitutional republic. 2, it was not an attack. It was not an insurrection. It was a protest gone violent due to federal agents provoking violence with cops who were ordered to react violently to it and attack the whole crowd. 3, Karine isn't a real American. Why? Because she wasn't born here and doesn't put freedom above her political desire, her political agenda, her political ambitions for the destruction of the constitutional restrictions, right, on government authority. She wants to destroy the restrictions and empower authoritarian government. That's why she's an idiot and not an American. And 4, in response to her, right, socialists in media, college, social media, and politics do not respect decency, morality, American traditions, culture, or our constitutional rights. So fuck you, dumb bitch. She doesn't speak for us, folks. She doesn't speak for America. She speaks for Joe Biden. She speaks for Nancy Pelosi. She speaks for globalist corporations. She speaks, folks, for big Illuminati, period. That's who she is, and that's what she is there for. Period. Period. I hope you've got your questions down below. I hope you have. This was fascinating. These fucking idiots in the White House in Washington, they think you're a moron. They think you're a moron and you can't see it, that you don't get it, that you don't understand. They think that. They think that. The fake news, the bullshit mainstream media, folks, wants shit hits the fan and they want to shove it up your nose or up your ass. They now claim, because U.S. officials have said so, that, quote, pro-Ukrainian group, one or more pro-Ukrainian groups have sabotaged the Nordstream pipeline. Never mind doing an investigation. Let's just make shit up, throw it at the fucking press, who spreads it all over your TV, and you're supposed to choke that shit down. Good bullshit. Finger licking good. Fuck them. All of them, folks. Pro-Ukrainian group. Who else is pro-Ukrainian? Ask yourself that question. And this is why the Prepared Mind channel is so important, folks. We don't just accept their shit. I'll explain in detail why they're full of shit, why they're liars, why they're anti-American, and why they want to kill you. This is how stupid they are, folks. A pro-Ukrainian group sabotaged the pipeline. Who else is pro-Ukrainian? Who? That's right, folks. NATO is pro-Ukrainian. Poland is pro-Ukrainian. The United States is pro-Ukrainian. Who congratulated the United States on the explosion of the pipeline? Poland. Poland's leaders. Really? Why would they congratulate the United States on doing such a fine job blowing up the fucking pipeline if it wasn't the United States? Exactly. It's obvious. Key bono. Who benefits? That's all you need to ask, and you'll find the answer every fucking time. Every time. Unbelievable. I'm telling you. Let's keep going. You think I'm done? I'm not done, folks. I'm going fast, I'm going hard, and I'm driving this shit home. Right? Unbelievable. Guess what happened? In France, thousands and thousands of Frenchies took to the streets, violently, folks, protesting. Because who is out there causing them trouble? Is it peace-loving French people who enjoy fromage and vino? Give me some wine, right? They want wine and cheese. Vin et fromage, s'il vous plaît. No, they're not the fucking problem. It's the government. Surprise! Emmanuel Macron, the man who married his mother, has decided there are going to be pension reforms in France. God bless the French, right? For standing up and saying, you know what, we've had enough of your shit, and they're getting violent. Good for them. Good for them. I don't say good for them when Antifa is violent. I don't say good for them when BLM is violent, because they're not the people. They're special interest groups that fucking hate America. The French people love their country. And they're pissed because their country hates them. Remember, Emmanuel Macron was the one who said, I'm going to lock you people down to piss you off. And he did it. He locked his whole country down when it didn't need to happen. Right? While he was enjoying time at his chalet, his vacation resort with his mother. Right? That's what happened. And isn't it funny how Gavin Newsom is a slimy little weasel who looks just like, that's right, Justin Trudeau of Canada, who's a slimy little weasel who looks a lot like Emmanuel Macron, who's a slimy little weasel. And he wants to take the money that the French paid and not give it back to them. Do you know another government that's probably going to do that? The older I get, folks, the closer I get to Social Security. And I remember back when Al Gore was talking about the lockbox. We're going to take your money. This is the 2000 election, right? 2000 election campaign. We're going to take your money. We're going to put it in a lockbox, as if that was going to protect it. Lockbox. Didn't win the election for Al. Anyways, the French, your money's not in a lockbox. It's in a free-for-all box. Just because you pay taxes, you think the government will give it back? Silly Frenchies. Well, they're going to have more trouble than that, folks. Imagine thinking, in the future, I'm not going to get my pension. Or if I'm getting my pension, my retirement fund from the government, and they cut it You're going to be pissed. But imagine what happens when people don't have power, fuel, jobs, a working banking system, food, jobs, money, a working banking system, fuel, food, jobs, water. They're going to really go ape shit, folks. And that's why you should be prepared. You really should. I hope you're ready. Ooh, man, do we got a lot of questions lined up? I sure hope so. I really do. I've got a lot to talk about, but I'm really hoping we got some good stuff to come from you guys, because I want to go back and forth and just beat the living shit out of these people intellectually. Okay. Are you ready? I sure hope you are ready. Let's do this. Man, I'm on John, Jolene, and Oliver. There we go. Okay, Jolene's on top of it. Very good. All right. Tucker Carlson, I talked about him a little bit ago. He's been releasing January 6th footage. I wish he would release it a lot faster instead of trickling it out. But he's releasing it, seems like a little bit every day. And it's driving the Democrats nuts. Because, folks, video footage, as soon as you put it in a believable context, it starts to make sense. Right? If you show a video of a cat attacking a dog, we're going to use that as an example. But the news story is that the dog ate the kittens, and so that's why the cat is kicking its ass. You're going to be like, the dog ate the kittens. That doesn't make any sense, right? Or how about the dog stole money from the cat? That makes even less sense. But if you said, there's a new mother cat protecting her kittens, and that's why the dog was attacked by the cat, now it makes perfect sense, right? Because we got rid of the bullshit. We got rid of the other bullshit, and we just looked at how is it that cats actually act, and what would a mother cat do, right? So when you get rid of the bullshit insurrection crap, unfucking believable bullshit, you get rid of the conspiracy to overthrow the government crap, and you put that aside because there's no evidence of it. If there was an insurrection, it would need to be armed. If it needed to be armed, it would need thousands of people. That means there would be thousands of people with guns storming the Capitol and shooting everybody to take control. That's not what happened. So the video belies that narrative. So when you play the videos in proper context, all of a sudden it makes sense. When you show the QAnon shaman, that's the red, white, and blue painted idiot with a beard who had the big Buffalo Bill hat, with big horns and shit, not a pro-Trumper, not a conservative, basically just a ridiculous dude who likes to go to protests and dress like that. Why? Because it probably gets him laid with these fruitcakes. That makes the most sense why he would do that. Okay, now let's move on. So, anti-free speech, activist, and longtime idiot on the government paycheck roll, Chuck Schumer, affectionately or disaffectionately known as Up Chuck. Right? He's been having a meltdown, and he's not doing it on the news. He's doing it on the Senate floor. He wants it on the record that free speech is exposing their bullshit, and he doesn't like it because they want to criminalize free speech. Remember that from the other discussion I had? Was it a Zero Dark 30 discussion about criminalizing free speech just from earlier today? Yes, it was. Right? He had this to say, quote, "Tell Tucker Carlson not to run a second segment of lies." Really? The government's going to tell him? Fox News is going to tell him? The people are going to tell him? Folks, look, if Tucker's telling lies and he's lying to the whole world, he's putting out that big fib out to the whole world, then it should be very easy to disprove Tucker's lies and make Tucker look like a stupid, untrustworthy, ignorant fool, period. So why don't you do that, Chuck, instead of trying to take away people's right to speak freely and report facts? It's because, folks, they don't have facts on their side. All they have is bullshit. They're fucking liars and they know it. No more Mr. Nice John. No more. No more. No more. You should take the high ground. I am on the high ground. I am on the high ground. I have no fucking doubt I'm on the high ground. I own the intellectual ground. I own the moral ground. I own all of it on these people. They've got nothing but brute, idiotic force and government badges and the color of law. That's all they have. But you, my friends, you, the American people, it is your country, and you have a right to be governed under a set of specific rules, aka the Constitution, and that those who take that role, that obligation, that oath to serve and be restricted by that Constitution should be held accountable to it. And if they fail or violate that, they should be thrown in fucking jail because they know better. They know better. And that's right. Just a little pissed off, huh? Just a little hot under the collar. Gonna let some fucking steam out, right? And by the way, I'm not violent, am I? Nope. I'm not out there committing chaos and fucking mayhem and setting police stations and training grounds on fire. I'm not attacking state, federal troops. I'm not attacking state and federal cops. Now, I get more done right here in this chair than those fucking idiots will do their whole lives, because I'm helping people wake the fuck up and get prepared. I'm giving them the reasons, the justification, and the understanding to do it. And when you hand out that internet address up there and tell people, watch this shit, you will wake up, you will understand, and you're going to, well, pay a lesson, a very expensive lesson, if you don't start looking out for yourself, your family, your loved ones, and everyone else by getting fucking prepared. These people are serious. They want to bring down the country, and they're doing it right now. We're going to fight back. I want you to prep to action. Prep to action. Get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine. Yeah. Means of self-defense and a plan. Get that shit together and then call, write, text, fucking smoke signal, carrier pigeon, whatever it takes. Get that message up to DC, to every single stinking loser of a representative and Senate. And may as well include the White House, because it's full of fucking losers. They should. They should. And we're supposed to care about them? Really? Really? I'm on a fucking tear right now. I'm not quitting. Michelle Obama, folks, has come out. Boo-hoo. I cried for 30 minutes when Trump was inaugurated. That was 6 fucking years ago, you dim-witted idiot. 6, 7 years ago. 7 fucking years ago. It is now past January of 2023. She's talking about something that happened in January of 2020. Before Cerveza Bug Madness. Before shit hit the fan officially. Why is this important now? Why now? And why should anyone give a fuck about Michael Obama? Won't even admit to being a trans. I mean, now it's courageous to admit it. Can't Michael come out and go, yeah, I've been a trans for a long time, but I was embarrassed because of all the white supremacy out there and the anti-trans movement. Ooh. No, it was just stay in the fucking closet, freak. If there's any one thing that Michael is doing proper, it's staying in the fucking closet. And who gives a shit if he cried for 30 minutes after Trump's inauguration? Who gives a fuck? For real. Okay, I tell you what. Let's do this. Let's go to you guys. It is now your turn. We're going to go to the inner circle. Here we go. Jolene and Uman, we're in the second half of the show. It is time for the inner circle, where you folks on the inner circle get to ask questions, make comments, pull a statement out of your hat, look to the future, point to the past, make a prognostication, or just fucking blow off some steam. You're in the inner circle if you're on the preparedmind.club and you're a premium member, or if you're on subscribestar.com and are a premium member. Either way, you promote freedom of speech, the Second Amendment. You promote the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the American way of life, freedom, liberty, and justice for all. That's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here. And if this show hasn't gotten your fucking attention, you're either dead or in a coma. Ooh, man, Jolene, who do we want to put up first? And it's none other than one of our favorites, Heidi. And she says, I kind of think that when someone decides to actually have an insurrection, they won't be able to mistake it. I think you're right. Someone is going to have to be a group. Even Rambo on his best day won't be able to take a state house, much less the federal government. But when they actually decide to have an insurrection, that means they're going to show up en masse with guns. Now, an insurrection by individuals is not something that typically wins the day. A coup d'etat, folks, that is performed on a country, a coup d'etat, that is a military and secret agency like the CIA induced rebellion, which is very, folks, pointed, very well directed, very well funded, and very well trained, can take over a government of a small country. But only if the military is corrupt, the police are corrupt, the judges are corrupt, and the legislature is already corrupt or corruptible. And once they are corrupted and owned, then the insurrection can come in, using force, and remove any elements of resistance. And then that new government can take control. That attempt was successful in Iran in the 1950s. They overthrew the government and installed their own puppet leader. That type of technique has been tried several times, and it often fails. It has been successful in banana republics and shithole countries in Africa and South America, and even Southeast Asia. And then it started losing ground. But it was successful, folks, in Ukraine in 2014. The CIA and military advisors and specialists trained, infiltrated, and bought Ukraine officials, police, and military so that they could stage a well-directed, pointed coup d'etat that was trained and funded by the United States CIA. How do I know this? Because I'm not a fucking idiot like the world thinks that you and I are. All you have to do is your research, and you'll see enough tracks to go, well, that was a bear, right? How many fucking bear tracks do you have to see before you know it's a bear? I think it was Uman who sent me a picture of a bear shitting in the woods the other day and said, that answers that question. Or was that Kaz? That was some good stuff. Yeah. Folks, this is a great point, Heidi. No one will be able to mistake it when it happens. And folks, the reason Ukraine fell is not because it's corrupt now. It was corrupt back then. Those people in charge of Ukraine were corruptible. The military, the police, and the government were corruptible. They were bought. Remember, after the Soviet Union fell, Ukraine had its nuclear missiles taken from it, its nuclear bombs taken away. But the power structure that came into being was extremely corrupt, could be bought off, and the coup was successful. All right, Heidi, great topic, great subject. I appreciate it. And I appreciate all the help that you provide in the way of support, as well as just making me and others smile. Thank you much. All right, let's move on, if we shall. And we got Mad Mix. He says, hi, John. What is this high seas treaty about? It's 30% of the sea mass that will be out of bounds. Is it to do with food and possibly movement of people? This comes from Mick in the United Kingdom. Number one, the Prepared Mind channel is international in scope. The sun never sets on the Prepared Mind Empire Network. The R Syndicate band stretches around the planet. That's right, folks, the rsyndicate.com. Everything prepping, everything survival, everything woodscraft, everything get your ass in gear. Thank you, Uman, for putting that together and putting your time into that, as well as helping out here on the Prepared Mind daily broadcast. Mick in the UK. We got Vince in Liverpool. We got people as far south, folks, watching this show as Tasmania, which is on the bottom of Australia, which is barely hanging on to the bottom of the globe, which is floating in space, a spinning ball. I'm surprised that Australia hasn't been slung off with all these centripetal force of this giant planet spinning in space. I'm trying to trigger the flat earthers out there, and Uman too, you know. Anyways, this high seas treaty, everything is out of bounds, folks. That's what in our country, the United States or England or Australia, they have these United Nations World Heritage sites. Why do we need the fucking United Nations to tell us that Yosemite is beautiful, or that Yellowstone is interesting, or that Niagara Falls is beautiful? Why do we fucking need that? Why do we need them? Just one more layer of what, international stupidity and diplomacy to explain things to us? Lucy, you have some explaining to do. No, Lucy didn't need to explain anything. She was a ditzy, funny fucking redhead, Lucille Ball. She didn't need no explaining to do. I guess the one who needed some explaining was Ricky Ricardo. You know, if you got such a big problem with Lucy, what are you doing? In fact, does everyone realize today that Ricky Ricardo, a Cuban, and Lucille Ball, a white woman with red hair, that was like the first interracial couple on TV. I grew up with that, folks. Lucille Ball, Leave It to Beaver, I Dream of Jeannie, Batman. I grew up with those shows, and I never thought a thing about Ricky Ricardo and all this Cuban Lucy, right? Didn't give a fuck. They're the ones making everything racist. Now, bad to Mad Mix. Yeah, they want to stop people from traveling. They want to stop people from fishing. They want to stop people from doing anything they want. They want to stop countries, penalize countries, tax countries. Oh, there we have it. Power and control. Power and control. Money is part of power. Money is used to control. It's about controlling wealth and controlling resources, controlling human movement. They want to take away your automobiles. Who was it that I saw on the news? I caught this thing that I believe it's Porsche and Ferrari do not want the internal combustion engine to be sent to the trash heap. So they're going to create, I think they called it e-fuel. Thinking fucking e-fuel. How about hydrogen, you dumb motherfuckers? Hydrogen, when burned, turns into water. How much cleaner can you get than that? I'm cleaning the atmosphere as I run my engine. Fucking morons. Really. Well, by the way, folks, they are developing hydrogen engines. I've been talking about that for quite some time since I ran my diesel trucks on a hydrogen oxygen mix, and increased fuel economy on turbocharged diesel 16%, and on a non-turbocharged diesel engine it was over 20%, just by running a little bit of hydrogen with it. Very interesting shit. Anyways, yeah, they want to get people out of the seas. They want to keep people out of the forests. They want to keep people out of the estuaries, the swamps, the lakes, the rivers. Fuck humanity. They want to kill us all. That is their job. These high-browed, low IQ'd, effete fucksticks. No more Mr. Nice John. That's exactly what they are. These fucking people are so inbred and conceited that they think they should run the planet. And so they do. All right. Thank you, Mad Mix. I hope all is well over in the UK as much as can be hoped for. And I would expect that you guys fix your fucking country as much as we hope and pray that we can fix our own. Let us move on. We've got Mikey G checking in. He says this: planets are aligning with a full moon, gravitational forces to unleash earthquakes and volcano eruptions predicted for March 7th. Damn, that's today. Holy shit, it is. Well, I'll tell you what. I was walking back from one place to another. Where the fuck else would I be walking? Either from or to. And I looked up and I noticed an alignment. Now, interestingly, down here, closer to sea level, compared to being at 5,000 foot elevation in the high Sierra Nevada and extreme Northern California, you could see stars, and so many stars, you had a hard time picking the planets out. But down here in the south, folks, a lot of the stars are occluded, hidden. Can't see them very easily. So it's harder to see constellations, sadly. But you can't see the planets really well. And I noticed an alignment of planets. And the moon gets aligned with them. Yeah, the moon. The moon is so powerful. Even though it's 35 times its own width in distance away from us. It's fucking gone. It's barely a satellite to this planet, folks. And they say it's responsible for the tides. Everything is bullshit. Anyways, let us continue. Right? The tides, earthquakes, tsunamis. Yeah, the planets are they're lined up. Full moon. Oh my God. What's the difference between a full moon and a non-full moon? Just the angle at which the sunlight hits it. Has nothing to do with its gravitational power. But yeah, I think Mikey G is kind of poking the finger at a bunch of conspiracy knuckleheads who always say when the planets are aligning, we're going to get enough gravitational pull to crack the earth like an egg and pour out the molten steel center, right? How many licks does it take to get to the center of a molten Tootsie Pop on Earth? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. This gravitational bullshit. Well, we detected another planet because of the celestial body was pulling on it and causing perturbations in the orbit. I've read a lot of this astronomy, astrology, and it's bullshit, a lot of it. But still, right? A lot of interesting stuff up there that's going on. I think we need to focus a little closer to home. How many times have we heard planetary alignment? How many times have we heard the meteor and asteroids crashing? How many times have we heard the sky is falling? And it doesn't. But one thing is consistent, unchanging, never ending, seemingly unstoppable. It is political stupidity, arrogance, and power mongering by those who aren't really or shouldn't be in power. That is the consistent thing, folks. Anti-constitutional, un-American pieces of shit trying to take control. That is real, and it's very close to home. And unlike the moon, Mars, and beyond, you can't affect them, not a fucking bit. I don't care how much you pray, you're not going to change what the moon is going to do. But folks, you don't have to pray. In fact, I don't recommend praying to Washington, D.C. I recommend giving them the finger and then showing them and telling them what you want them to do with an email. Prep to action. Whoo! All right, I'm having some fun tonight. Ooh, man, Jolene. Who do we want to toss up next? Can you pronounce this guy? User 7AC12636. He says, banks are definitely watching and penalizing gun purchases. Citibank recently cut my available credit from $25,000 to $5,000. Almost immediately after I used my card to purchase a gun for my collection. Well, that's interesting, user 7AC12636. You know what I would have done? I would call up the bank And I would say, what's the justification for cutting my line of credit? And make them explain. Because if they don't have a legitimate reason, I think that subjects them to potential civil penalties, right? Because they are prejudicially treating you. They cannot punish you or take from you for exercising a right. Can they punish you and take away your credit because you like to eat hamburgers or drink milk? Can they punish you, right? Are they allowed to cut your credit because you've what? I mean, name anything that normal people do that it is your right to do. Can they take away your credit because you burn diesel in your truck? What I find fascinating, folks, is fuck the banks. Fuck them. And I understand using credit is a big thing in business. Whether you're a trucker and use a credit card to buy your fuel, to get you from point A to point B, to take your load and make money so you can spend more of that on more fuel through that credit card and pay that fucking bank interest. Stop using their fucking services. Quit using their fucking credit cards. Fuck them. And this has been going around the preparedness world for a long time. And I think Dunnigan Kaiser on, his Liberty show, but he used to be, Reluctant Prepper. And I still think that's a great name for his channel. But I do listen to his Liberty and Finance show also. Is be your own bank. That's a huge deal with being a prepper. Is you're your own food store, you're your own water supplier, you're your own clothing supplier, you're your own housing guarantee, you're your own medicine storehouse, you're your own security and safety specialist. You take care of yourself so you don't have to rely on these fucking people. Electricity, get a solar panel array and a solar generator, and you guarantee yourself the ability to have power, right? Be your own power provider. Solar power. Be your own communications specialist. Make sure you have CB, walkie-talkie, shortwave, whatever it takes, ham radio. Make sure you can communicate. You don't need these fucking people. I use them, folks. With your help, your backing, your support, I use the internet. I use YouTube to spread a message, to point out that YouTube is full of hypocrites and weak-minded fools. No more Mr. Nice John. I want to point out that Twitter is still full of a bunch of fucking loser anti-Americans. Instagram, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, all the left-wing bullshit television shows and channels and networks, they're all full of shit and a bunch of fucking liars. And there's even some who pretend to give a shit about America, and they don't. Right, Sean? They don't give a shit. They really don't. Let's do this. I'm expecting something from Orlando. Do we have another discussion point, another topic? David has this to say, and I don't blame him for saying this. He said, at the risk of being a pessimist, I don't see how the America we knew will ever make a comeback. Commies are too entrenched and conservatives are too law-abiding. The political prisoners from January 6th are still being held to send a message. Don't stand up, don't fight back. David, that doesn't make you a pessimist. It makes you a realist, because you are realizing that America is not responding. That's why we are here. We are the Paul Reveres sending messages. We are the Benjamin Franklins using free speech and demanding our free speech be respected, to fight back. We are sending messages to our representatives, trying to get accurate representation. We are telling the government the same way the American colonists did for 50 fucking years, telling the government, which was King George at that time, we are now telling the government in DC, respect our God-given rights. They're already enumerated in the Magna fucking Carta. They're already enumerated in the Independence, 4th of July style declaration. They're enumerated, laid out, made fucking plain as day. And again, they're reiterated in the Constitution. They're discussed and argued about in the Federalist Papers. That work has been fucking done. It is gold, folks. It's a fucking gold mine of freedom. And all people have to do is open those books and start sharing it with others. The work is already laid when they have gotten bad enough, the government, all of them, in DC and every fucking state capital, every pile of shit politician out there knows their fucking days are numbered. And that if we decide to fight back at any level, for any reason, it is their asses that are on the line. That's why they have the cops, folks, aiming their guns at us. That's why the judges aim their guns at us. That's why governors aim their guns at us. Because they know they're wrong. They know that they are acting unlawfully. They know they are violating the law. Their fascist bullshit. Roman civil law is not a substitute, nor is it compatible with the U.S. Constitution based on the common law, which accepts and acknowledges our constitutional God-given rights. But they slowly substituted it, but it pisses people off, and we know it. We know it. Let's do this. Let's move on, Jolene. I know my hour is running up, and I'm not running out of steam. I'm pissed off. David Clinton says, NASA did not put a man on the moon. Well, I'll tell you what I don't know, David, is I don't know if they did or not. All I know is the evidence that they have shown us proclaiming that they did go to the moon is bullshit. Pictures, video, etc., 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 all bullshit. Now, I was sent a message by Orlando. And I didn't see his question or comment come up here. So I'm going to cover it for him since he didn't bring it up. Apparently, light in the loafers, Lindsey Graham, old loose lips asshole himself. He wants to use the U.S. military to fix what's going wrong in Mexico. What has been going wrong in Mexico, folks? Apart from all the drug dealers. Well, 2 American lives have been lost. 4 were kidnapped, and now 2 of them have shown up dead. We need to go fix Mexico over these people. These Mexican drug runners are bad. Oh, I tell you what, why don't you just keep them out of fucking America and make the Border Patrol for the U.S. federal government do its job, Lindsey? That problem? Biden. Biden is the problem and the reason we're being invaded by drug cartels and why women and children are being used in sex trades. Well, no, it's about the dead U.S. citizens who got caught in a cartel gunfight and then were kidnapped, and 2 of them now dead. Yeah, because 2 people died in Mexico. Lindsey Graham thinks we need to use U.S. military might and supremacy to go take over Mexico and control it. Well, if losing a couple of lives and stopping drug cartels is justification for taking military action, then we and Lindsey Graham should definitely want to use the military to oust the Biden family and the Biden cartel and the Biden administration for abandoning and having killed so many soldiers and Marines in Afghanistan and civilians who were abandoned to their deaths in Afghanistan because he sold them out for political promise, payment, and expediency. Fuck Joe Biden. These people are a bunch of, we need to make enemies with Mexico. We need to make shit worse. Well, let's see. How did Orlando put it? Let's see. Making enemies out of North Korea, Iran, China, and Russia. That's not enough. Now we need to start a fucking war with Mexico. Basically is what he wrote. I added the word fuck in there because I don't give a fuck. And I think he meant to say fuck. It's just, right, he didn't want to say that. He's just a nice guy. A lot of you guys are nice guys, nice gals out there. And I appreciate it. And I value that tremendously. But I come on here and I cuss and I shout and I scream and I make my points intellectually. And the reason I do it that way is so that you can relax. You can see that I have put it out there. And you get to experience it, the relief, vicariously through my pronouncements and my energy. That's why I do it, folks. I'm actually a very kind, generous, soft person. Wait till I get my fucking hands on these communists. And it's go time. You're going to find out what these Marines and soldiers and sailors are all about. The veterans of America, the real American veterans and American sportsmen and American patriots who love this country. You don't have to be a vet to love this country. You don't have to be a vet to be a patriot. But we're all out here. And it's our country. And the government fears us. Yes, they do, folks. They fucking fear us. That's really who they are, a bunch of cowards. So the New York Magazine art critic, some fuckstick art critic from New York, has decided to use Twitter, folks, to shun family and to shun his friends who vote Republican. I tell you what, fuck you, communists. Good, stop talking to us. Whoever is in my family, if you're a communist, a socialist, you're a left-wing piece of shit, don't ever fucking talk to me again. Don't talk to my kids. Don't talk to my friends. Don't talk to anybody. Just go the fuck away. We don't want you or need you fucking people. Art critic. We need fucking art critics. Tell you what, open an art gallery, and if no one comes in, it's because the art fucking sucks. We don't need a critic to tell us what art is. Art fucking critics. And now he's a social critic and social commentator. Fuck all of them. Folks, I'm pissed off. I'm sick of these people, and it's no more Mr. Nice John. Tired of them calling me and you, regardless of whether you're black or white, man or woman, rich or poor, old or young, they're going to call you a racist because of what you think. Because you love America, you're a racist. Because you love America, you're a white supremacist. And they think that because they have been elected, or they are a teacher, or they are a professor, or they have some authority that they can pronounce the Constitution dead, that they can do whatever the hell they want. Well, that's what they think. And again, I tell them, fuck them. And there's Orlando. Says Lindsey Graham wants to use military force in Mexico. China, North Korea, and Russia, not enough. If our government looking for attacks on the U.S. from all sides at the same time, it would seem like it. Because, yes, they do want to destroy America. So why not turn every ally into an enemy? Russia, folks, has been a huge ally to the world, providing food and energy. Food and energy. What does Mexico do? Mexico supplies a good deal of food to America. Mexico supplies cheap, quality construction labor to America. Mexico supplies cheap, quality farm labor to America. Mexico provides cheap manufacturing to American corporations so they make tons of fucking money. If they quit manufacturing in Mexico, folks, guess what? That fucks up America. America wants to fight with Mexico, then Mexico will bring in Russia and China and put them on our doorstep the same way while America and NATO want to put the military on Russia's doorstep in Ukraine. How will America act? Well, they want to destroy America, folks. So they would probably applaud that shit. You guys be cool. Get prepared. Chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Semper Fi, Godspeed, and God bless America. We'll be back with Zero Dark 30 early tomorrow morning.